and welcome back to Meet the Authors. My second guest today is Heath Crawford. Heath Crawford has come out with a brand new fantasy book, and he has a very interesting life. We're going to talk first about his work here in Gulfport, where he works for the IMMS. So Heath, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
And tell us about your work. Tell us first off, what is IMMS and what do you do there?
Well, IMMS is the Institute for Marine Mammal Studies. And what that means is we take care of animals that come in that have stranded on the beach, rescue them, nurse them back to health, and then hopefully release them back out into the ocean so that way they can have a great life there.
How long have you been working there?
I have been there now for 5 years, believe it or not. Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a little bit. We're starting to get going with it, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. I've been out to that institute. They have great tours. They have aquariums. You can play with the dolphins. You still do that? Yes, it really is nice stuff. And also another aspect about that is the pygmy whales. Now, you were telling me that you just rescued 2 pygmy whales, and the IMS is putting out a book, and it's going to be available. Tell me a little bit about that.
Really, really excited. IMMS has a great team to be able to take these animals in. Everybody comes together, works really hard with the community, and then is able to help them. Well, 2015, actually September 1st, we had 2 pygmy killer whales that stranded along the beach in Bay St. Louis. And a man came along, he found them, stranded right there in the marshes as he was fishing, called IMMS, and we got out there as fast as we could, and were able to bring them back to the facility, and then in a year's time, we were able to nurse them back to health. So it was a long process of ups and downs and helping these animals.
How big are the pygmy whales?
When you think of whale,
yes,
you probably think of huge.
I do.
But
I think like Moby Dick.
No, they're actually pretty small.
That's why they're called
around
pygmy.
350 pounds. Yes.
Yeah, small for a linebacker, I guess.
Yes, small for a linebacker, but extremely powerful, extremely strong. They can swim about 25 miles an hour, which is crazy.
So you had them in tanks?
We did. We had them together because this is actually the very first time in the United States history that you were able to see these animals nurse back to health and re-released. Wow. Which is a very, very cool thing. There was another that happened in another part of the world, but this is the first in our area.
And when were they released?
They were released in July of 2016.
So they were there for almost 1 year.
Almost 1 year, yes.
Put them back and you write up that story and put it into a book form, and it'll be available at IMMS. Great.
Yes.
So tell me about this book.
This book is Oasis. Now, it comes with a really fun series name, and that is Pavancia Poi.
Can you put that up before us? Put that Facebook page up on the screen. All right. Well, they'll get to it in a moment.
Okay.
There it is. Facebook.
There it is. Right there. Yes.
And so it's a series, and the series is called Pavancia Poi. And this particular book is the first one in the series, and it's called Oasis.
Oasis, yes.
All right. So what does that mean? What's the pion thing ovi mean?
The Pavancia Poi.
Yeah.
That's fine, because I even have a hard time saying it from time to time. But what that means in this other world, it is science fiction. So there is another world called Basile, and Pavancia Poi is the pivot point between our world and their world. And this book, Oasis, is kind of interesting because we, as people, looking at ourselves, we tend to think of Oasis or Fountain of Youth or places with all this money, all this wealth, and we get really excited about that. Well, this book is about a boy named Joel who heard about such a place and moved all the way to Colorado, with his adopted father. Once they were there, they began to try to fix up this really old resort that they buy. And they find out some nice, fun, haunting things, a scary groundskeeper out back who is not always the nicest guy. And as they begin to make this new life there, and he makes new friends, he is 17, so he has the great opportunity to go to high school, which is always fun, as we can remember.
Yeah. A senior in high school in a new school, not the best scenario.
No, not the best scenario. Well, he hears about the legend of the Oasis. Okay. And the Oasis is a place overflowing with wealth. that was found back in the early 1800s, close to Civil War time. As things began to move through, it became much bigger during the gold rush.
So I'm a little
as well.
confused. There's two parallel worlds.
Yes.
And they're on the other one, which
Yes.
has, and I don't want to be a spoiler alert here, but it has magic going on in it.
Yes.
So, and versus ours, which I guess has some sort of magic. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, and so even though it's a parallel world, it's almost exactly the same except for that, because they're in Colorado and there was the Civil War, and so it's
Yes.
sort of another view of this world.
Well, Joel is in our world.
Oh, he's in our
He's
world.
in our world.
Oh.
He is here, and he is gone to Colorado here.
Huh.
Now, Basile is a place that he cannot get to.
Oh.
This is actually, he hears of the oasis, gets there, learns about the oasis, and then begins to find out that when it comes to gold and wealth, all those things, they don't always tend to be exactly how we thought they would be to begin with, and begins to be a little bit more intense.
And there's also a love story in this. I went through this book a little bit.
Yes.
This love story. And the thing, and I just want to point out, mention that I've read some of this book, and really the writing is fantastic. For a first novel, he's really got it down. It's got some great active verbs, wonderful scenery, really impelling images. So in fact, why don't you take a moment, if you could, and read a little bit of the book for us.
Alrighty. So this, starting out, is Joel talking here. It says, for a moment, Joel lost the words to continue. Seth searched his own, or possibly for the first perfect arrow placement in Joel's heart. There was no turning back, so Joel asked another question. You killed Hayward, didn't you? Seth's bow moaned as the string stretched back in his hands. Don't speak as if you knew him. He threw his life and his family away in search for his oasis. It consumed his thoughts, and he never saw its real beauty. His family was worth more than that place. Men are left blind to what they have by the thought, by the mere sight of it. Seth's hand shook in anticipation. Joel spoke. So it is real, the oasis? Yeah, it's real, Seth said.
Very nice. It's compelling. I can just feel the action, feel the drama in that book. And I like, okay, a moment. I like the opening, the picture on the cover. You see a picture on the cover with a candle and all that. In fact, I'm going to take a moment and grab the book because I want to just read the opening line because I liked it so much. This is called, the opening chapter is called An Arrow, dated 1885. Fire from the candle that sat on the handcrafted oak desk danced across its wick while brisk winds whipped through the log cabin. I love that kind of imagery. I love the way you write. I think I love fantasy and science fiction anyway, so I think this is the first book in a series. It's going to be a wonderful success, and I'm really excited for you.
Well, thank you very much.
And I understand, so you've already started the second book. What's the second book called?
The second book is called Crimson Falls, and it is hopefully going to be out fairly soon. It's in the beta reading process, which is a lot of fun. For me, the whole entire process, from sitting down and experiencing the fiction, the narrative, all that first person is amazing. Sitting down with a beta reader, hearing their perspectives and hearing how they see what it is that you read, things that you never even would have seen in the story pop out to them. And we're in that process right now.
That's exciting. All right, so I'm excited. You're going to have how many books in all?
I am thinking it is going to be around 5 books.
Wow.
But as I read once about C.S. Lewis said, once he begins to write and the water turns on, the books are not done until the water runs dry.
I like that.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Show us the book one more time and tell us where people can get your book.
You can actually get this book on Amazon. You can get it on Walmart.com. All the major distributors as far as online, from Barnes & Noble to Books A Million. There's actually 60 different across the world from those type of things, as well as Overstock.com actually.